Hello lovely people, welcome to the video. My name's Athena. I'm a writer working on my first book whilst homeschooling my two girls and being with them 24/7, as well as whilst life literally beats me to a pulp apparently because so I haven't updated in, I believe YouTube says 45 days since the last video. It has been a ride. I am in my pajamas if you haven't noticed. I am barely sitting on this chair right now. I am currently healing from an emergency surgery I had to have. So life has been a lot. In regards to writing, right before everything happened, that would be three weeks ago at this point, I finished draft 3 of the book. I had been working on it. I started writing draft 3 in December, on the 2nd of December specifically. So it has been like a journey, and just everything just kept happening. And even now, like nearing the end, like the final 5 days of me writing and just really just going to town on draft 3, so many things were happening. We had like a little positive surprise, and then that positive surprise turned into something that had to be surgically removed. So I'm not going to talk about that again now. I'm probably going to do a video on my other channel going more in depth because that's where I would share something like that. But just so you know, if I look kind of strange and weird and if my mental state is just a little bit, I need to move forward. I need to feel like I'm making progress. And this is the best way I know how. So I'm currently swimming in all of the books, all of this like structural. I have my fancy little notebook here. Fancy is just a little notebook so I can write. The joys of having children. Okay, let me find it again. There's a page. I saw it. There we go. They get into my office and they think it's cute to mark stuff, and I'm like, don't do that. Please don't do that. Because one day it's gonna be something that I like, yeah. Anyway, moving on. So draft 3 finished at 139,500 words and some change, but we're not going to add the change. It is just shy of 140,000 words. That is huge for a debut, for a first book. Even a fantasy, 140,000 is a lot. Okay, so first goal of this draft, first very main goal of the rest of this book's existence, I need to cut down a minimum of 20,000 words. That's the minimum I need to cut, okay? That's what needs to go. Like, we're not even contemplating, okay? 20,000 gotta go. 20,000 words have got to go. This is the book. I have started the read through. I'm okay. So this is what I meant about my mental health and everything. I struggled getting back into it for multiple reasons, and I kind of had to force myself a little bit. We all know that once you finish a draft, it's a good thing to take time away from it. And I did that. I had no choice. So I took the time away from it because I had to start the healing process and whatnot. But the reality is my mental state really took a hit due to everything that's happened. And I needed something to make me feel like I'm moving forward. Like I'm not stuck and stagnant in this situation. And my book, like moving forward in my book and heading towards getting it ready so that it can move forward and be queried, etc., that for me, felt like a good purpose. So with that being said, I did have to push myself a bit. It was not an easy thing. And that does happen to me generally. So a lot of people are like, oh, let your work sit there for a month or 2 months or 3 months. I would never be able to get back into it. I would struggle. I would really want to, but oh my God, I don't know. It's my brain maybe. I cannot do that. I cannot stay away that long, and I cannot, it's really hard to get back into it after. It's really hard to find my general, the flow. So with that being said, I have started slowly reading through this. I will admit I looked at this when I was like, okay, I'm gonna read this. And I had a heart attack. What are they using these days? The phrase they're using, I crashed out. Everyone keeps saying that. I crashed out. Anyway, I've never used the phrase before in my life. I do understand though what it means, but am I old at 34 that I don't know what crashed out means? I don't know. Anyway, I was having a freak out session. That's the basic thing. And I finally sat down and I was like, okay, how did you do draft 3? We broke it into 3 parts. Part 1, part 2, part 3. So I did that up here. You can barely see them, but there they are. There they are. Okay? So I broke it down into its 3 parts. Then I went ahead and I broke down, you probably can't see now because I have like a bunch of, but the little blue Post-its are breaking down part 1 into even smaller chunks that kind of make sense together. One of these chunks is quite big, and it's the one chunk that I definitely need to cut down a bit on. There's quite a bit. I feel like part 1 is probably, is it the biggest part? It is. Like part 1 and part 2 are like of equal, and then part 3 is just nothing. I don't know. There's a lot that needs to be cut down. 20,000 words, as we said. So I broke it down, and as I broke it down, I was finally able to really start thinking. And as I started reading, I realized part 1 needs a couple rewrites, needs a bit of work, probably needs most work than the other 2 parts. So then I was like, okay, I think my editing is gonna have to take a different path. This is my revision plan, if you will. I'm going to break it down, part 1, part 2, part 3. I'm going to finish reading part 1. Now, if I feel like moving on to part 2 as I reread, just to kind of get through the whole book, I will continue doing that. I don't know if I will though. If I don't feel like continuing the reread and then coming back to it, I'm gonna go right back to the start again and kind of start going through part 1 again and marking everything that I want to fix, change, update, rewrite, all that kind of thing. Like really mark it up. I do have little notes now, and what I've also taken to doing is I'm marking the like, if you can see the writing on there. You can't see the writing on there. The green tabs are the structure, so the plot beats, basically. Plot points, beats, whatever you want to call them. I have like my inciting incident, setup, inciting incident, debate, break into 2, B story at this point, I think. I also have the meet cute marked, so I do have this bad boy, which I do want to, like, I'm emphasizing this a lot more now in this edit and this read through. So I've marked the meet cute. I'm gonna go ahead and mark the rest of the plot points, the beats, for the romancing beat with purple post-its. The one thing where I'm kind of stuck just a little bit is, so I have the 2 POVs, right? And then we have the 2 characters. The female character, Petra, is more, she's there more. Like her story is very much like, this is her main story. This is, you know. And then my male main character, Maddox, is kind of like, he's there, he has his POV moments, but not as much as her. So he doesn't necessarily cover every single plot point, or they're very later in the story, or they're just very, like towards the end especially, he doesn't really have plot points. So I don't know if it's like, I should just be like, his main focus is the romance, and then he gets more of a role in the second book, or if I should try and find a way to add all of his beats. There are a few beats that kind of correlate with Petra's. I could kind of like put them together and be like, this is his beat because this affects him as much as her. Oh, the difficulties. Anyway, that is further along in the book. I think at this point I'm just gonna have to give myself creative freedom, as in, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna focus on the things that I know 100%. I'm gonna focus on making sure I'm marking all of the plot points when it comes to Petra's POV. I'm gonna focus a lot on romance beats, where Maddox does come in a lot with the romance beats. So I think he's the B story more so than, you know, and that's fine. You don't have to, not every POV has to be like a full-fledged, you know, and that's okay. That's okay. It's my book, you know, it's my book. As long as it makes sense and structurally it's sound, I don't think I have to 100% abide to every single tiny rule created. I think that's one thing that as writers we really, you know, because as great and as awesome as like this book is, my fun and games section for Petra is ginormous. It is huge. I know I need to, like, I'm definitely going to be cutting a lot from that because 20,000 words need to go, but it is huge. And I have tried kind of, you know, going around it and whatnot, and it's just, it's not, and I refuse to, I mean, I am going to be cutting down, as I said, 20,000 words. We'll just keep saying that. They need to be cut. But at the same time, I have all the plots. All the plot beats are there. It's just the fun and games is huge. You know? And it's supposed to be technically the biggest part. But at the same time, yeah. Anyway, so as I said, I'm gonna be, right now, what we are doing, we are working on draft 4. We are rereading draft 3, 139,500 words of it. We are rereading. It's been broken down into 3 parts so that I can kind of look at the tree and not the forest, because I was having a heart attack / panic attack / what is my life. Marking structural points, marking world building that I need, marking, you know, just the spaces where I need more interiority, marking little points that need to be rewritten. I definitely want to work on the prologue and the first couple of chapters. I knew I would have to anyway, especially the first couple of chapters, because they were complete, like, new drafts when I wrote this, like they were first drafts, basically. They do need to be rewritten better, because the curse of my drafts has always been the same. Second half of the book is always better than the first half. So I also figured that if I focus on part 1 of the book now and kind of do the reread and then go back, work on part 1 and then move on, I will bring it to the level that the rest of the book is, and then I'll be able to kind of look at it as a whole. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. This video is gonna be super long. As I said, I am healing, both physically and mentally and emotionally, and it's been a journey, but I am still moving forward. And so ideally at this point, with the next update, today is Monday the 7th of July. Ideally I want to update on Friday, having finished with the read through and making different kind of progress. Whether that's the whole book read through, I mean, can I finish the whole book? I don't know. Whatever, it is what it is. I just want to make progress, you know? So we are revising, we are moving into draft 4. Let's see how we go.